You've done it again. Phone face down for 10 minutes. Then you pick it up. Nothing happened. No message. No notification. You check anyway. It feels automatic, almost involuntary, like your hand moved before your brain gave permission. You tell yourself it's a bad habit. Something you picked up from the app, from the algorithm, from the screen itself. But the real answer is far stranger. The urge didn't start with your phone. It started with your ancestors scanning a horizon for danger and food, tens of thousands of years before glass and silicon existed. It is the reframe. Your phone didn't invent this behavior. It found a switch that was already there and started flipping it constantly. To understand the switch, you have to go back further than any app, further than television, further than writing itself, to a version of you that lived outdoors, hungry, and alert. For most of human history, survival depended on one specific skill, noticing what might matter. A rustle in the grass might be wind. It might be a predator. A distant shape on the savannah might be nothing. It might be food, or a rival tribe, or a threat that ends everything. The humans who checked, who scanned, who couldn't quite ignore the unresolved thing at the edge of their attention, tended to live longer. The ones who didn't check, who let uncertainty pass without investigating it, sometimes didn't get a second chance. That difference, repeated across hundreds of generations, shaped a brain that treats unresolved information as urgent. Not interesting. Urgent. This is where the neuroscience gets specific. In the 1990s, a researcher named Wolfram Schultz was studying dopamine in the brains of primates, expecting to confirm that dopamine spikes when an animal receives a reward, like a squirt of juice. What he found instead reshaped how scientists understand motivation. Dopamine didn't spike most strongly at the reward itself. It spiked at the moment just before, during the uncertainty of not knowing whether the reward was coming. The chemical driving your motivation wasn't a celebration of getting something good. It was anticipation. It was the itch of not knowing yet. Sit with that for a second. Your brain isn't built to reward you for what you have. It's built to reward you for chasing what you don't have yet. Decades earlier, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner had already stumbled onto a version of this, without any brain scans at all. Skinner trained pigeons to peck a lever for food. When the lever delivered food every single time, the pigeons pecked at a steady, almost bored pace. But when Skinner changed the lever so it only paid out sometimes, unpredictably, the pigeons pecked harder, faster, and far more often. He called this variable ratio reinforcement, and it turned out to be one of the most powerful behavioral patterns ever documented. Predictable rewards create calm behavior. Unpredictable rewards create obsession. Now think about your phone. Every time you unlock it, you don't know what's waiting. Maybe nothing. Maybe a message from someone who matters. Maybe a like, a comment, a headline that changes your whole afternoon. You are, in that exact moment, a pigeon pulling an unpredictable lever, except the lever fits in your pocket and travels with you everywhere. Nobody had to teach you this behavior. Your dopamine system was already tuned for it, built by millions of years of scanning uncertain environments for the one signal that might matter. But here's the counterintuitive twist. The ancient scanning instinct wasn't a flaw. It was, for almost all of human existence, exactly the right strategy. Uncertainty in the wild was rare and expensive to ignore. If you scanned the horizon 50 times a day, most of those scans found nothing, and that was fine, because the one time something was there, it was often life or death. The cost of checking was small. The cost of not checking, occasionally, was catastrophic. Evolution doesn't build systems that are perfectly efficient. It builds systems that are cautious enough to survive rare disasters, even if that means constant, low-level restlessness the rest of the time. The twist is this: your phone didn't corrupt an efficient brain. It exploited an ancient safety mechanism that was never designed for a world with unlimited uncertainty on demand. In the ancestral environment, unresolved signals were scarce. You might scan the horizon and find nothing new for hours. Today, unresolved signals are engineered to be infinite. Every scroll produces a new unresolved thing. Every refresh resets the uncertainty. You're not weak for checking. You're running software built for scarcity in an environment of manufactured abundance. Researchers studying attention and reward have found that this isn't just theory. Behavioral scientist Robert Sapolsky, known for decades of work on stress and motivation in primates, has pointed out that anticipation itself can be more chemically potent than the reward that follows it. That's why refreshing a feed can feel more compelling than actually reading what's on it. The refresh is the anticipation. The scroll afterward is almost an afterthought, chemically speaking. This explains something that might feel uncomfortable. It's not that you lack discipline. It's that you're using a hunting and scanning brain in an environment specifically engineered to trigger scanning behavior every few seconds. Notification badges. Red dots. Pull to refresh animations that mimic the physical act of foraging, of pulling something toward you to see what it yields. None of this is accidental. Modern platforms studied exactly the mechanisms Skinner and Schultz described, and built interfaces around them. So what do you do with an ancient alertness system in a modern world that never runs out of things to be alert to? The first step is recognizing that the urge to check isn't a character flaw. It's a signal, inherited, not chosen. Once you know that the itch is ancient and automatic, you can start treating it differently. Not as a moral failing to suppress through willpower, but as an old alarm system that occasionally needs to be told, gently, that there is no predator in the grass. Some researchers studying digital behavior suggest that simply removing the unpredictability, turning notifications into scheduled batches instead of random pings, can quiet the urge significantly, because it removes the variable reward pattern that made Skinner's pigeons peck so relentlessly. Think about what that means for your own hand reaching for your phone, 10 minutes after the last time you looked. It's not a modern weakness. It's an old and reliable survival trait, doing exactly what it evolved to do, in a world that keeps handing it an endless supply of unresolved horizons to scan. Tonight, when your phone buzzes, or when it doesn't and you check it anyway, notice what's actually happening. It's not the app. It's not weakness. It's the same brain that once scanned grasslands for movement, still scanning, still alert, still doing its ancient job in a world that never runs out of horizons.